on the Equal Rights Amendment or on the principle of equality under the law on the basis of sex, what this resolution actually amounts to is an unconstitutional and illegal end run around the provisions of Article 5 of the Constitution. In 1972, both the House and Senate passed the Equal Rights Amendment with the requisite two-thirds majority. At the time, Congress explicitly set a deadline for ratification, requiring that the amendment be ratified within 7 years. That meant that the final deadline for gaining ratification from three-quarters of the states was March 22nd, 1979. But by March 22nd, 1979, only 35 states had ratified the IRA. Of course, 5 of those states had also rescinded their ratifications. And I would be curious to know if the majority thinks those ratifications are legally valid. But now, 42 years after the deadline is passed, the majority is trying to turn back the clock and claim that there should be no deadline at all for the ratification of the amendment. This is a highly unusual and indeed unprecedented step, including a deadline of 7 years for states to ratify a proposed constitutional amendment is not uncommon. And in fact, it's been the usual course for proposed constitutional amendments since the passage of the 18th Amendment, with just 2 exceptions. But what has never been done is what the majority is attempting to do with this resolution, to retroactively, 42 years after the fact, remove the original deadline, which was written as part of the explicit language of the amendment, and to do so by a simple majority resolution of Congress. It is unprecedented and indeed contrary to the text of Article 5 procedures for amending the Constitution. If the majority truly wants to move forward and pass the Equal Rights Amendment as the 28th Amendment to the Constitution, I'm all for having that discussion, but it must be done by following the procedure laid out in Article 5 of the Constitution. It requires hard votes, 2/3 of both chambers of Congress, and the consent of 3/4 of our 50 states. That is the only constitutional way to accomplish that goal, and indeed, that is the only right way to accomplish it. What does not work is what the majority is trying today, an extra constitutional end run around the legal process. The third and fourth